This is the most unhinged hopecore lawyer rant about frozen water that you didn't know you need. So, I'm working on this project related to my local frozen water facility, which has capacity to hold 1,033 people. In 2 to 3 weeks, they abducted more than 1,000 people and took them to that facility. So, they abducted the entire carrying capacity of this facility in less than 3 weeks. Let that sink. But this is not doom and gloom. This is an awakening. In the words of Richard Rudd, we are passing through a mythic test as an entire species, perhaps for the first time as an entire species. This is the apocalypse. And what does that literally mean in Greek? It means the great unveiling. The powers that were created this illusion, this veil that we are separate from source, spirit, God, creator, the all that is, whatever you want to call that. And the purpose of creating that veil, that illusion, is to convince us that we're powerless and that we're just little cogs in their machine and we, drudge away and create the stuff that they want us to, and we don't have any power to change it. That's a lie. And we're seeing through that now because we have to. And to really illustrate where we are at in humanity's history, let's turn to the predictions of Andre Barbault. Andre Barbault correctly predicted the fall of the Soviet Union in 1989, more than 30 years before it happened. He correctly predicted a global pandemic in 2020 and 2021, a decade before it happened. How did he do this? Astrology. And that might sound wild to some of y'all, but put some respect on the fact that indigenous and traditional knowledges have used astrology around the world for thousands of years. And if that's not enough for you, look at the dude's resume because he was right about everything. Final prediction before he passed was that the second half of July 2026, where we are right now, holds the most beneficial and era defining astrology of the century. Let's talk about it and let's make the most of it. So this is Barbault's basket. For those who aren't familiar, Earth is here. We have Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter. The blue lines are supportive relationships that are 60 or 120 degrees. The red line is combative. It's 180, but it still works in our favor. We'll come back to that. These planets are the slow outer moving planets. Pluto takes 248 years to go around. Neptune takes like 165. So it's incredibly rare for these planets to be in this exact perfect, all at 4 degrees of fire and air configuration in which they have this supportive, harmonious relationship. So, what does it all mean and how does it situate us in history? If things feel crazy to you, it will feel much less crazy and make much more sense after hearing this. So, the last time Pluto was here in Aquarius was 1776, the American Revolution. Pluto being the planet of rebirth and the end of empires. Clock that. Neptune, here in Aries. The last time it entered Aries was literally the day after the US Civil War started. Can't make it up. Uranus in Gemini. The last three times that Uranus was in Gemini were World War II and the creation of NATO and the UN. The time before that was the US Civil War, and the time before that was the American Revolution. Jupiter's a lot faster. It goes around every 12 years, so it's not as rare. But the last time that Jupiter was here in Leo, exactly opposite Pluto and Aquarius, was when Bastille happened, when the people overthrew the French monarchy. So if you've been feeling hopeless in some type of way about the government or authoritarianism, um, look at the sky, babe. It's literally written in the stars. We are repeating the karmic cycles of these past events, and we are closing them out in peace and loving revolution. When all of these past events happened that I just mentioned, we didn't have this extremely rare and beneficial configuration of Barbault's basket to support the highest good of humanity. And now we do. This is why he said it's the rarest and most beneficial moment of the 21st century. You did not come here to feel hopeless and do nothing as frozen water fills all of their facilities in 2 weeks. I don't know what your skill set is, but You incarnated in this specific rare ass moment with a purpose, with a mission. And Pluto is asking us to stand in our power and stop giving our power away to authorities because it's an Aquarius. It's asking us to stand in the power of community. That means when your neighbors are getting abducted, don't sit there and do nothing. Neptune in Aries is asking us to dream and imagine new possibilities. And if we look at the last time it was here, it's very explicitly tied to the end of savory. They're only able to get away with creating these savory systems when you choose to hand your imagination away to them. They tell you this is how life is, this is how the systems are going to work, and you're just going to be a cog in the machine. Unless you dream of something else, that's how it'll be. So use your imagination, envision a different world. Uranus is asking us to embrace radical disruptive change. Part of why we've been in this cycle for so long is because people are afraid of change. The entire world is changing. Either it's going to go down in flames, which is what they want you to think, or we're going to stand in our empowerment, word to Pluto, and we're going to choose to create something from our sovereignty. And Jupiter in Leo is asking us to step into our own leadership. We're not turning to external hierarchical systems for leadership because clearly they're not capable of that. You came here to be a leader in your own. Climate scientist and racial justice activist Ayanna Johnson created this triple Venn diagram that teaches you your bespoke, unique purpose in this lifetime. It's the intersection of what brings you joy, what work needs doing in your community, and what are you good at. Stop, think about that, fill out this Venn diagram, and whatever is at the middle of those three things, what you're good at, what brings you joy, and what your community needs, is your purpose in this moment. It's very simple. Everybody can do this. Maybe that's community gardening and producing food for people. Maybe you feel called to join your local frozen water watch group. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you're a healer. There are so many solutions that actually support humanity that we need. And those things require us to break away from the mold of this conveyor belt that they've put us on. The universe is alive. It gave you a purpose that brings you joy in this revolutionary, never before seen moment for humanity. This is the mythic test that we came here to pass as a species. I love you. We've got this.